baes, welcome back to my channel if you are returning, and of course welcome if you are new here. I have an event literally in 30 minutes and I am going to attempt to put this in a braided ponytail. If it's a hot mess, I don't know if I'm going to even post this video, but anyway, without further ado, let's get right on into it.
I'll share my world with you. You gon' waste your time. Waste your time.
Alright, first, what am I going to be using? I got this braiding hair from the beauty supply. I practiced yesterday, so that's why one is missing. So we just gonna pray that all I need is this, because I really don't have any time to go to the beauty supply in case something goes wrong. Then I got this Got To Be styling gel that I'm going to try and use, and then my handy dandy trusty Eben edge tamer for the edges. I am so nervous, y'all. I really do not know how this is going to turn out. I just pray that it turns out good enough for this event that I'm already going to be late for trying to do this. So anyway, the first things first, I need to do my part. I think I'm gonna go with a middle part. Hair needs to be washed. I think I'm gonna go with the middle part, just because I think it will look better in general, even though I have like a really big forehead. But I think we can go with the middle part. I think that should work out just fine. So let's make sure this is straight. I think this is straight. Oh God, I hope it's straight. I don't know, y'all. Is it straight? If it's not straight, don't make fun of me, y'all. I don't need to know in the comments. Okay? Just keep that one to yourselves. Okay. That wasn't that bad. Whew. And the rest of this is probably going to be a voiceover because I need some kind of music or something in the background to keep me going and to keep me from freaking out about how wrong this could go. Whew. It's an old silk press, y'all, by the way. That's what it is. It's just an old silk press, and there's nothing I can do with it that I would be satisfied with for a formal event. So this is where we're at. So I'm just starting off with laying down my hair and trying to get as tight of a ponytail as possible before actually adding in the braiding hair. So as y'all can see, I used the Eco Styler gel. Honestly, in hindsight, not the best option because it's water-based. So what it ended up doing is actually curling my hair, because it was like basically putting water on my straightened hair. So definitely wouldn't recommend that. But I did use the Got To Be styling gel, and that really did lay down my edges. Like by the end, they were not going anywhere. So that was a good option. I would probably recommend a wax-based product or like the Got To Be Free Spray. And I saw some other creators in the tutorials I was watching, they were using this free spray, but I didn't see it until after I had left the beauty supply, and I was like, well, I'm not going back. I don't have time to go back. So I'm just going to use what I have at home. But in the future, if I do this again, I would probably use that or like a wax stick or something of that nature. Unless my hair is actually curly, then I would use my Eco Styler. So I just put it in a ponytail as tight as possible. And then I pulled it as tight as I could without it being too tight and putting too much tension on my scalp. And then I just used my trusty Eben edge control to try and lay the edges down as much as possible before I added my do-rag and my edge, like I forgot what it's called, y'all, but I added that as well. So I'm using my edge brush to basically just flatten my edges as much as possible, and then I added that pink thing, and then I added a do-rag on top of that because, like I said, I could see that my hair was puffing up because of the Eco Styler, so I needed something to kind of lay down the rest of my hair as well. Now at this point, I am taking my braiding hair out of the package And as I said before at the beginning of the video, I used one of the pieces. So this was a 74 inch. It was the longest one I could find. I was really nervous about the ponytail being too short, so I ended up getting the 74 inch. But then when I took it out of the pack, I was like, oh wow, this is like really, really, really long. And because it was so long, I could already tell that it was definitely going to be prone to tangling. And another creator that did a tutorial also said, I don't know what hair she used, but she was just saying that, you know, the braiding hair can tangle really easily, which I noticed from the get-go. Even though that hair was super soft, like I would really recommend that hair. It's just that length, I don't know if I would get that length again, because it just was really hard just to make sure that it did not tangle too much to the point where you couldn't use it. So I got this from another tutorial, but basically I put pretty much half of the hair in front of my head, and then I'm taking a ponytail holder and basically attaching. And then see here, we had some technical difficulties. So I had to start over. And at this point, it was getting tangled again. So I'm like, oh my goodness, this is gonna be such a pain. And y'all can literally see on my face, like I'm like getting flustered already because I'm like in a rush. And so I start all the way over, and I had to take the hair once again, part of it in the front, part in the back, and then essentially you're gonna take a ponytail holder and attach the braiding hair to your actual hair. Now this was so difficult because, like I said, I used the longest braiding hair, 74 inches. So it was a lot to put it through this ponytail holder about 3 times to make sure that it was on there tight enough. So this was a bit of a struggle, as y'all can see here, but I just took my time, just made sure I wasn't like trying to rush it, because I didn't have any more braiding hair. So it's like, whatever happened. So just take your time. I was like, literally like, take your time. What's done is done. Like, you don't want to rush it and then get it tangled and then you can't use the hair at all. So this definitely took a couple of minutes, couple of seconds, whatever you want to call it. But I ended up getting it. So then you're just gonna flip over the rest of the hair. So now you have a ponytail, a full ponytail that is attached to your hair. So at this point, I had to detangle even further. And y'all, you can see my face, because what ended up happening is I ended up yanking it so bad that I yanked the ponytail, the braiding ponytail, out of my real hair. So please be careful with that. Like when you're detangling, like hold the ponytail at the base of the actual pony itself, because it can be kind of rough when you're trying to detangle this hair. And then at this point, like I'm getting super nervous because I'm like, I don't have any more hair to use. So if I don't get it out of this ponytail holder, like I'm just SOL, like I'm out of luck. So I finally am able to kind of work with it and get the ponytail holder out of the hair. So at this point, I had to start all over, but I did it. I got it. Then you're gonna take a little piece of the hair and take it out, because you're gonna use that to camouflage the fact that you've added this braiding hair to that pony. Otherwise, it's gonna look like a knot. It's gonna be very obvious. So basically, you're just gonna loop it all around. And again, this was a struggle because the hair was so long, so I had to loop this thing around I don't know how many times to finally get it around. Now, I saw some others online that they basically used the Got2b spray as they were doing it, but I didn't have that, so I ended up just pinning it once I got to the end. At this point, it's time for the most important part, and that is the actual braiding. So this hair was really, really, really giving me the blues, y'all, because again, I'm gonna reiterate like the whole video, it was so long. So it's like you're constantly having to detangle as you're going. And I think another hard part of it too was making sure that it was tucking into my hair. You can like tell the difference. I mean, my hair, the color actually blended super well. I was super surprised, but it was really hard for me to braid this hair from the back and then try at the same time to blend my natural hair into the braiding hair. That was pretty difficult. So it took me a while, but I just wanted to take my time because I really did not have the capacity to redo this braid if it turned out a hot mess. Like if I had to redo it, it would have just been, I don't know what I would have done. I probably would have just had to end up doing my hair, like just using my natural hair and doing something. I don't even know. I didn't even have any ideas. So I took my time and basically, you know, got through this braid. I was constantly trying to detangle with my hands. I've seen others, they'll use their wrap brush to constantly detangle as they're doing it, but it was just a little bit faster for me just to continue to use my hands. And y'all, this braid was long. Like it seemed like it took forever for me to do it. And then once I got to the very, very end, like it was so long that my arms were too short. So I ended up having to put it in my mouth in order to finish the very, 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 very end of it. But we got through it, we kept going, and we finished it. And that's how it turned out. So, I mean, not terrible for my first try. The biggest thing was, as you can see, my natural hair is kind of poking out just a little bit. So I put some mousse on it, which I saw someone else do in another tutorial to kind of lay it down. And then after I did the mousse, I actually kind of wrapped it with this other wrap that I have. And then that was it. All right, y'all. So this is the finished product. I'm not mad at it, especially for it being my first time. I'm going to lay my edges down a little bit more and then keep that on until I get to the function. But as you can see here, I put mousse and it kind of frizzed up my actual hair. So I don't think that that was the best idea. But as far as the braid itself, like, I'm not too mad at it, honestly. I think it's good enough for the party. Like I said, I'm gonna lay these edges down a little bit more, but it's not too bad. It's just I should have tucked the hair a little bit more. I tried to do that, but yeah, it's kind of my own fault. So yeah, that's pretty much it, y'all. Thank you so much for joining me for what could have been quite a disaster. So again, thanks y'all for joining me. Don't forget to click that subscribe button, like this video, and comment down below. And of course, I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.